Welcome back, my beautiful moon souls, to this weekly forecast as we dive into all things from the Diary of the Stars. I hope you've had a fabulous week. This week, we are actually going to talk about what happens when a planet turns direct, meaning Mercury's shadow period. So, we've almost survived another Mercury retrograde. So exciting. But many of you are going, wait, almost? Why almost if the official end date of the retrograde is December 15th? Well, yes, it is. But until January 3rd, Mercury slowly regains its usual speed in what's known as its shadow period. Now, this shadow period begins when the planet turns direct and continues until it reaches the point where the retrograde began. So it's important to understand that the transition of the planet to direct motion isn't an instant, okay, everything is fixed, we can go back to exactly the way that it was before. No, not quite, because we will still be feeling a little bit of an adjustment. Think of it like a little bit of a Mercury hangover, so to speak. So we will be feeling this process, but don't worry, because this shouldn't scare you. The shadow period is actually a really good thing because it gives us a chance to finish everything that requires attention, and it just makes sure that you are moving in the right direction. So after this planet's influence, everything's going to be clean and clear, just more kind of smooth sailing. And only after the shadow period, when the planet completely leaves retrograde and returns to its original degree, do we begin to see the conclusion of the processes that had been suspended before. We begin to feel that everything is moving again, and we begin to feel like, okay, communication and technology issues start to resolve. I don't know about you guys, but personally, during this retrograde, my car actually stopped on the freeway. And it started to actually smell like gas, so I couldn't drive it. I ended up taking it to the shop, and I couldn't drive for a week and a half. So I'm personally really, really excited that this retrograde period is over, even though it's going into the shadow period. But yeah, you might notice like communication and technology issues start to resolve. There's no more worrying about misunderstandings or delays. We can confidently take steps in our business. We can sign those documents. We can make important decisions, whether it's a yes or a no. And so anything that was paused during the retrograde can now be brought to action. So again, if you were thinking about an important step, but you delayed it because you weren't sure of your decisions with the planet turning direct, clarity and confidence gives you that return for action. So, what should you do when a planet turns direct? Well, just like we've been saying, first and foremost, activate all those plans you've been putting off, finish up everything that was paused, and don't be afraid to move forward, because this shadow period allows you to be more comfortable and confident in your decision making. Now, what's cool about this is that this not only works just for Mercury, but pretty much any planet, because each planet governs a specific area of our lives. And so when it returns to direct motion, we begin to feel the return of stability and progress in those areas, which brings us to Mars. Mars is currently in retrograde right now. And just like last week's forecast, Mars symbolizes the restoring of our energy and the restoring of our confidence. So it's actually kind of perfect that right now, as we enter Mercury's shadow period, Mars is currently in retrograde too. Again, it just symbolizes everything for our energy and our confidence and gives us that okay for going forward. Just remember that for you guys, it's all going to be individual. And just because it's now ending doesn't mean that it's a yes for everything. It's more of a, okay, I can now make the right decision. So that's it for this week, my star seekers. Now, I hope that this finds you well and more, as we say, confident. That's like our buzzword in this podcast in the week ahead. And I will see you next week. As always, for more tips on the moon's phases and changes, go ahead and visit our app MoonX, where you can download all things on the diary of the stars, as well as seek out meditations, sound frequencies, healing things, and just more information under the Insights tab. And you can download the MoonX app on Google Play or the App Store. Have a great week, you guys!